They called the black CEO, servant, unaware she speaks Chinese, then she cancels $700 million deal. The conference room of the Mandarin Pearl Hotel gleamed with gold and glass, the kind of luxury meant to impress billionaires. But all the shine in the world couldn't hide the subtle arrogance that floated in the air that morning. It was supposed to be the biggest deal of the year, $700 million, a merger between a leading Chinese tech conglomerate and Kiona Holdings, a rising American powerhouse. The kind of deal that could rewrite global business headlines. Yet, no one in that room knew that history was about to take a very different turn. The door opened quietly, and a tall, dark-skinned woman entered, her posture graceful but firm. Her name was Amara Bennett, CEO of Kiona Holdings. She had built her empire from the ground up, through sleepless nights, ruthless competition, and doors that closed in her face simply because of her skin color. But her smile that morning was calm, almost tender. She was ready to finalize months of work. However, the executives seated around the long table didn't even look up when she entered. One of them, a gray-haired man in an expensive tailored suit, snapped his fingers and gestured to her. "Ah, you're here. Bring us some tea, please," he said casually, in Mandarin. The others chuckled softly, assuming she didn't understand a word. Amara froze for half a second, the words sinking in like slow poison. Her assistant, Daniel, who followed behind her, looked horrified, ready to step in, but she raised a hand gently. Her expression didn't change, only her eyes flickered with something unreadable. "Of course," she said quietly in perfect Mandarin, her accent flawless. But no one caught it. They were too busy turning back to their phones, their laptops, their arrogance. She walked out of the room silently, not to get tea, but to think. Years of being underestimated had taught her patience. She had faced worse than ignorance. But this was different. This was the moment she realized that despite her accomplishments, some people would never look beyond her color. She returned 10 minutes later, not with tea, but with her composure sharpened into steel. Her assistant carried the presentation files, and Amara calmly walked to the head of the table, taking the main seat. The executives looked up, confusion rippling across their faces. One of them frowned. "Miss, that's for our CEO. You can wait outside." Amara met his gaze, then smiled. "I am the CEO," she said. The room went dead silent. Her Mandarin was clear, confident, and carried the weight of someone who had fought every battle twice. Once for being a woman, and once for being black. "And I understand everything you just said." The men froze. The gray-haired one, clearly the chairman, stammered. You speak Mandarin." "Fluently," she said, her tone calm but cutting. "And it's unfortunate that what I heard was not business strategy, but disrespect." She turned to her assistant. "Daniel, cancel the presentation. We won't be doing business today." The chairman panicked. "Wait, Miss Bennett, this is a misunderstanding." "No," she interrupted softly, "it's clarity." She looked at each of them, her voice steady, but her words hit like thunder. "You see, I came here prepared to invest in your vision, to help your company expand into global markets. But you've shown me your true culture. You don't see partners, you see servants. And I don't do business with men who see color before character." One of the younger executives, visibly ashamed, tried to speak. "Please, Ms. Bennett, this is not who we are." "Then show it," she said firmly. "Not with apologies, but with how you treat people when you think no one's watching." And with that, she stood, gathering her things. The men scrambled to respond, offering excuses, desperate to salvage what they had just lost. But Amara walked out with quiet dignity, her heels clicking against marble, each step a reminder that respect cannot be bought with billions. The story went viral within days. Someone from the hotel staff, who had overheard everything, leaked the incident online. The black CEO who walked away from $700 million became a global headline. Business schools discussed her decision as a case study in integrity over greed. But for Amara, it wasn't about money or fame, it was about self-worth. Years later, when Kiona Holdings became one of the world's most trusted global firms, she was invited to speak at an international summit in Shanghai. The same chairman who had once dismissed her sat in the audience, silent and humbled. As she spoke on stage, her voice carried both warmth and strength. "Leadership," she said, "isn't about power. It's about principle. You can teach strategy, you can train negotiation, but you can't buy respect. Respect must be earned, not demanded. And those who forget that lesson will always lose more than money. The audience stood in thunderous applause, many wiping their eyes. Amara smiled, her heart calm. She had not only cancelled a $700 million deal that day, she had written a story for every person who had ever been told they didn't belong. A story that said, dignity isn't negotiable. And in that moment, the woman they once called servant stood as a symbol of strength, grace, and the unshakable power of knowing your worth.